Hello, 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 and welcome to hopefully another edutaining episode of Create Simple Meals. Well, you know we only have those 3 rules. You must have passion, you must have patience, and you must be willing to practice. So the holidays are coming up, and a lot of us have our holiday woes and problems and whatnot. And so I'm hoping some of you chime in. If not, I am still going to give a couple of tips and tidbits that I've learned throughout the year that will hopefully help you during this holiday season. So some of the things and I took some notes, but like some of the things I do, like make an ingredient list, check your appliances. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it was last year, maybe the year before, right before Thanksgiving, my oven went out. Luckily, I was able to get one before Thanksgiving happened, but those type of things happen. Sharpen your knife, because a sharp knife is a safe knife. And the worst thing to be doing is trying to cut something. You got a dull knife. You get frustrated, and that's just going to cause you more of the issues. This is going to sound crazy. Make sure your can opener works. I can't tell you how many times, and it's usually because we put might put our can openers into the dishwasher, or hey, what's going on, Meech? Appreciate you for tuning in. Put them into the dishwasher and they dull out. You're trying to open up a can, and that's another issue. I had a couple of questions. Like one of them was, what sides are other than traditional sides? That's up to you. Every year I throw something new on the menu. So yeah, it is freezing. But one of the things I'm doing this year is a white cheddar mashed sweet potato. Every year I throw something different on the menu because I just feel like trying something else. Somebody asked what was the best brand of temperature or gauge for turkeys or roast per person. But Thanksgiving is a gluttony holiday, so that quarter pound of meat may not be enough. So might want to add it up to a half a pound, but you have to kind of gauge it from there. How to estimate when to start preparing, and that's what we're going to get into a little bit deeper. Because believe it or not, I have a end of September for Thanksgiving. Actual work is going to start starting this Friday, and I'm going to get into what my processes are. Ellen, what time should I begin cooking to make sure food is ready on time? If you know your recipes and you know how much you're cooking, kind of back in from there. I always try to make sure that the last thing I'm cooking is going to be done 1 hour before I say dinner is. Now, what time is dinner? For whatever crazy reason, Thanksgiving is always at some god-awfully early time, like 2 o'clock. We don't eat dinner no other time like that, but Thanksgiving becomes all these crazy things. So let's go ahead and get into some of these things, and I'm letting you know right now that you do not have to cry about your holiday meals. Some of the key problems that we have are not being prepared. You have to mentally prepare for a lot of things. And I'm going to show you a couple of quick, what's going on, Tyrone? Appreciate you for tuning in. I'm going to show you this one quick video I did a while ago on another show I used to host. And it's how to cut greens. Now, as I told you, I'm going to start this weekend. So I'm buying my greens on Sunday. I'm going to come out and I'm going to wash them all up. I'm going to cut them all up, throw them in a green. You're wilting these stack gum things anyway, so the crunch is going to be gone just from the cooking process. So there's not a problem with freezing them. Buy them, cut them up in advance, freeze them. That's one less thing you have to do on Thanksgiving. So here's a quick little video that I've taught. It's a different way of how to pick your greens. Hello there, you all. Welcome again to another episode of LearnToSmokeAndBrew.com, where we focus on smoking meat and brewing beer, but we teach some everything. So many of you are getting ready to prepare for the holiday season, and you need to cut up your greens. As you see here, this is maybe what you might consider an unconventional method. Instead of picking them by hand, which takes forever, what I've learned was you take your knife, make sure it's sharp, because a sharp knife is a safe knife, and you simply go straight down the stalk of the green leaf. Now by doing this, you pretty much get all green, no stalk, although if you want some stalk, you're welcome to put some in there. But it, in essence, lets you cut greens in a third of the time it would take you to pick them the traditional way by hand. After this, we'll simply roll them up and chop them. But I typically can do a case of greens or 24 bunches of greens in less than half an hour. So hopefully this tip helps you out during this holiday season. Happy cooking. All right, so that's just the method that I use. And then again, before I forget, folks, while you're out there, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Tap that notification bell so you know that we're on. Please like and follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, and do not forget to tap into us on TikTok. For all previous recipes, you can visit createsimplmeals.com and the videos. Email me and ask me at createsimplmeals.com, and especially now during the holiday season, hit that chat button. You can talk to me directly, and please share this video with your friends and your family. So again, some of these little tidbits we have. Basically preparing ahead of time. So as I showed you with the green clip, I'm gonna start preparing this weekend. Somebody asked, "Hey, what's up, Gina? What's on my menu?" So the plan is right now, I'm doing Cornish hen. I'm planning on doing one mac and cheese, and a good friend of mine, she's gonna do another mac and cheese. So we're gonna have a white mac and cheese, or a blanco, if you will, and a yellow or cheddar mac and cheese. We're gonna do greens. We're gonna do dressing. We're gonna do candy yams. Sweet potato pie. I'm thinking about doing a cheesecake. Don't know yet. Still up in air about that one. But this comes into preparing ahead of time. So again, I'm gonna cut my greens come probably Saturday or Sunday. Tuesday, well, I'm gonna do double duty this week because next week's show I'm gonna feature how to do sweet potato pies. But Tuesday, I'm also gonna make up all my sweet potato pie mix. And this is one of them things where it talks about starting in advance. Your pies, your cakes. For those of you, not my preference, that do potato salad on Thanksgiving, that stuff can be done like Tuesday or Wednesday. Trust me, especially for potato salad. 2 days in the refrigerator is going to just season it up a little bit more. So get all that stuff out the way first. Everything that you can do, try and prepare for that. The other thing you want to look into is account for your cooking times. Again, if you're doing a turkey, now I got two thoughts on this turkey because some nut texted me and said, how long does it take to microwave a 25-pound turkey? Real simple. Put it in the microwave, set it for about 4 hours, and then order cookout. You cannot microwave a turkey. I know he was being facetious, but some people have tried that. But what you want to do is account for the cooking time. So greens can take, especially if you're doing a big trough the way I do for Thanksgiving, it might take you an hour and a half for those to cook down. Account for that time. Also, account for your turkey. Your turkey, first of all, you start cooking your turkey or preparing your turkey at least 24 hours in advance by brining it, which if you watch any of my previous shows, I talk a lot about brining, and you want to avoid having dry and overcooked turkey. So you want to brine it. Also make sure that you thaw it out, because that's another one of the problems we have. Another problem that you may or not run into. You do the cheesecake, please. Oh, I'm thinking about, all right, I might do that cheesecake. Not enough space. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I've been blessed throughout the years. One, because I have, obviously, the studio kitchen. But those burners you all see me use week to week, I learned last year, because that was my, right after my first year starting this show, and I had bought a bunch of equipment. So what I do is I take those electric burners in the house to give me extra space. Those burners are not expensive. You can get them anywhere between 30 up to $100, depending on what your preference is. But you need to account for space. You need to account for the space of your cooking surfaces, as far as the stovetop, your oven. These things matter. This is why we get all frustrated, because now you're trying to rush but you got a turkey in there, you got the dressing in there, and you're trying to squeeze the macaroni and cheese in there. You're trying to cook them all at the same temperature, and you're rushing. Now, here's another unconventional thing, especially for those of you that haven't learned how to pare down your menus. You can use your crock pot to cook certain items. You can use your grills, your griddles. If you have a smoker, you can use those to cook some of your items. So don't just think you have to use your oven and your stove and your traditional kitchen appliances. There's some folks that do their candy yams in an oven. There's some folks that do their candy yams on the stove. I've done them on the stove, the oven, and a slow cooker. They all work because for the most part, candy yams, they're going to sweat on no matter what heat you put on them. If it's a slow heat, they're going to sweat. And speaking of candy yams, here's another little video on a way of cutting your candy yams. Where'd that one go? Just showing you real quick how to get a jump start on your Thanksgiving. So this is a mandolin. They're pretty cheap. Able to slice your candy yams in a uniform manner. I'm doing this today, which is Friday. I'll put these in some water and just put them in the refrigerator. That's one less thing you have to do on Thanksgiving morning. Just a little tip from Big Ruby's Barbecue to make your Thanksgiving holidays just a little bit easier. So as you see, that was that last year or the year before I did those on the mandolin. I started them on Friday, cut them up, throw them in the some water so they don't start browning on you. And then that's just, again, something else you have to get out the way. Now, I know refrigerator space is at a premium. So start cleaning your refrigerator out now. Get all them leftovers, all that crap you done brought home, start cleaning it out now to give you space. But also, if absolutely necessary, if you have some coolers, grab you some coolers, put some ice in there, and that can give you the refrigeration space that you're going to need going forward. Another thing, again, did I thaw out the turkey? And no, Tyrone, you cannot cook a turkey again for the last time in the microwave. Did I thaw out the turkey? I can't tell you how many times folks have, especially for those who's going to try and fry a turkey, who have sat there and tried to thaw a turkey the night before. If you get into that jam because you just don't pay attention, you haven't thought it through, or you was busy that week, wherever the case may be, because we know life happens. If you get into that jam, a couple things you can do, and I'm not going to play that video because it's too long. One, you can put your put your turkey in the sink with a slow drip of water, and hopefully it's not rock hard. And typically overnight, your water bill can go up. And when I say a slow drip, I mean like a doop, 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 not a stream, a slow drip. And that will, there's science behind it, I don't know the name, but that will help it thaw out faster. The other thing you can do in addition to that is once it's unthawed enough to start slicing it, what's called spatchcocking, which is basically cutting it down the back of the turkey, open it up, increase that surface to air, and you can start thawing out a little bit faster. As far as what spice I'm using for my turkey, I get to that, but well, I'm not doing turkey this year. I'm doing Cornish hens this year. But I haven't fully decided on what brine I'm going to use. But as far as my spices, basically poultry season, a little bit of sage, rosemary, and salt is going to be for that one. All right. Which brings me back to dry, burnt, raw turkey. Yeah, most of us usually just have to have some dry turkey in our lifetime. Account for how long it takes to cook that bird. Again, if you really think you need 20 pounds of meat, I encourage you, I implore you, I beg you, get 2 turkeys. Don't buy a 20-pound turkey. The bigger the turkey is, the tougher it is. This is an older bird, and just like you, we cut you right now, you old and you tough inside. 20-pound birds are older birds, and they're going to be tough. So I would say get 2 turkeys. But far as to keep it from being dry, Brine. Brining is nothing but a solution of salt and water. It creates a process called osmosis where basically when the salt is going to start pulling moisture out, but then it has to go back in, and it's going to take the seasoning in with it. You can do a wet brine, which if you ain't got the space for it, is real messy trying to get buckets to hold a turkey. Or you can do a dry brine. Season it up like you normally would. Wrap it real tight in some saran wrap. Again, 24 to 48 hours in advance. What's going to happen as that salt is sitting on the skin, it's going to try and pull the moisture out. Well, since it's in an enclosed environment, the moisture got to go back somewhere. It gets pulled right back in along with them seasonings. So that's how they prevent dry turkey. Now, as far as burnt turkey, the only way to prevent burnt turkey is, one, pay attention. You can't cook in the bedroom. When you're cooking, you need to be focused on cooking. Now, I have a ritual. I'm going to turn me some music on, get myself in a relaxed mode, and ain't answering my phone during that time because I'm cooking at that point. But if you don't want to burn your turkey, you got to pay attention. And don't try and rush it and try and increase your speed. If you done bought that big turkey, you know you're looking at about 4 or 5 hours for it to cook. Now, as far as raw turkey, again, get you a thermometer and test. I personally don't rely on that little thing they put on the top that pops up the turkey. On some of them y'all buy, I don't trust them things. Get you a thermometer, put it into the thigh part of the turkey, and the turkey needs to be at 165 degrees for it to be safe to eat. Now, some folks gonna disagree with me, but I've been doing this for a long time. I take it out around 158, 160 because that residual heat is going to keep cooking the bird. Now, for those of you that's going to stuff your bird, God help you. But if you do, because I'm even thinking about trying it with Cornish hens this year, make sure you've gotten that internal temperature to 165 because salmonella is real. And people that stuff their turkeys, they get the turkey to 165, but they didn't get that stuffing to 165. And now you're going to get folks sick and they ain't never come back to your house again. All right, where we at next? Do we have enough wine? Again, I ain't joking about this. I ain't joking about the do we have enough wine. If you know you got heavy drinkers in your family or your friends, plan accordingly. Make sure you have enough, wine or liquor or beer or even soda for that matter. Whatever it is, plan for it. But also, I'm not a big fan of potlucks. There's very few people who can cook for me. Hate to be arrogant about it, but that's how I am. However, you can have folks potluck and bring certain things. Now, me, only thing I'm asking anybody to bring your drink of choice and bring enough to share. I ain't asking nobody. Like I said, it's very few. So, a short list of folks is gonna cook for me at my house because I'm very particular about my food. But if you're gonna potluck, back to that writing down your ingredients and list, make sure you assign who wants or who's going to bring what. Another thing, mine just jumped over again. With those potlucks, or when you get assigned food to people that's bringing over, I'm going to tell you right now, because I deal with some folks that just don't understand the concept of time. You might want to, you ain't going to lie about what time dinner starts. You're just going to tell them what time they need to be there. That way you ain't lying. Because I never forget, one year I had a acquaintance of mine was bringing the turkey. Some told me he was getting a fried turkey from somewhere. Some told me have a turkey just in case. He showed up with the turkey around 7 o'clock that night. The turkey was ice cold because it had to, somebody commercially fried it, wrapped it, cooled it down, and had to heat it back up. Dinner started at 3 o'clock. He bringing the turkey at 7 o'clock. We didn't eat that turkey that night. So if you're going to assign folks, make sure you know the folks that's going to be committed to bringing stuff on time. Also make sure somebody can cook, and also tell them how much to bring when they're coming in. Make sure I got through all these questions we had. Seating. Now, again, because sometimes, normally you ain't going to let more than 5 people in your house. But come Thanksgiving, you want to have 35 people in your house, and you ain't got the space for that. Don't feel bad for it. it is quite okay to have them folks on Thanksgiving sit on the floor, sit on the sofa. Hell, at my grandma's house, we done sat on beds, wherever you had to sit. If you're in a warm climate like here in Southern California, sit outside, bring in patio furniture. This is not some fancy meal usually for Thanksgiving, and your house most likely ain't prepared to feed 35 people sitting. So don't stress on that, but plan for it. So make sure if you need to go borrow some folding chairs, go borrow them or rent them, whatever the case may be. But again, folks can go outside. I done been places where folks is eating in the garage. What Mish asked me, do I do eggnog? Actually, I do drink eggnog. I've never made eggnog from scratch. I've got my mic is up here. I have never made eggnog from scratch. My daughter asked me today to make a pumpkin pie from scratch, so I might actually do a pumpkin pie and an eggnog from scratch just to say that I did it. I think that's pretty much it that was on the list of burning questions. Again, whatever you do, prepare in advance. Make sure you get your ingredient list out. Write them down. What I would do, which I do every year, I go through my ingredients, and so I do things like, if you're doing a macaroni and cheese with more of a casserole style that needs eggs, I go through, I count from that. If you're doing a macaroni and cheese that's more of a sauce base, we're using a bechamel, that you you almost killed yourself, and salmonella in the mix, then you know how you're going to need heavy cream or milk. Make sure you go down an ingredient list, because I can't tell you, and one of these days go back to Create Simple Meals and you see how I started all this. My mother, I used to watch her year in, year out, cook this huge spread and then fuss, fight, cuss, argue because everything's going wrong because she's trying to do too much. And I critiqued them over the years. Then my wife picked up the mantle, same thing. And so I learned from their frustration how to start paring these things down. So seriously, right now, if you know what your menu is, you already have your recipes out, go through and see how many eggs you need, and always add about 10 or 20% more than that. See if you got any cornmeal in your cabinet right now, if you're making your cornbread from scratch, especially if you're doing it for your cornbread bread dressing. See if you got chicken broth, if that's what you normally use. Check and see if you got salt, pepper. Believe it or not, last year, when this pandemic started, I had a hard time finding certain seasoning. So you should have already started, but you still have time to make sure you have enough salt, you have enough pepper, you have enough poultry seasoning. Whatever you need, go through those ingredient lists and make sure that you're prepared, so that, because I'm going to tell you right now, something always goes wrong. But you're going to minimize what's going wrong because you've already properly planned for the what can go wrong. By sitting down, making out the list, making not just your food list, your guest list. If you're going to do some type of special decoration, I have a cousin, she likes to decorate, have all that accounted for, and then figure out your time. So if you're going to cook in advance, some people like to cook, they'll start cooking Tuesday. Me, I've never cooked anything until Thursday morning, but I prep in advance. But if you're doing that, account for the time. So again, your turkey, your ham, your dressing, I would do it in a certain order. Since the turkey takes the longest, get up in the morning, throw that thing in there first. If you're doing dressing from scratch, I would bake that bread the night before, have it all crumbled up, because cornbread dressing is nothing but you mixing it all together and you just browning it. Have all that cooked the night before. Bread can stay out overnight, cools down. Next morning, you prepare it all together, put it in your pans, and have that waiting. Now, if you put eggs in your dressing, you put it back in the refrigerator. If not, have that waiting while that turkey is doing. Put your yams and your greens on the stove if you're doing them on stovetop. If not, try to get those yams in there along with that turkey. And then kind of step it down that way. Since that turkey is the longest thing, start it early in the morning. And there's another thing. There's absolutely, positively, nothing wrong with having to reheat your food. If you got a million dishes, you can't cook them all at the same time. And guess what? Nobody is going to be on time anyway. So you told them dinner at 3 o'clock and you trying to keep your food hot for 3 o'clock. they not going to show up to like 4, 5, 6. They got to make their rounds. So they got to heat their food up anyway. So take that stress off yourself. What time should company start to arrive at the host house? Meech, that is an absolute great question and one of my biggest pet peeves. Anybody that knows me, I know if I tell you 3 o'clock, I mean 3 o'clock. I don't mean food's going to be ready at 3:01. I mean 3 o'clock. Now, some folks, they tell you 3 o'clock, they start cooking. But whatever the host tells you, do not show up to their home at 3 o'clock and they told you, or at 2:30 and they told you 3 o'clock. They're still prepping. So unless you know this person well enough, you're going to actually pitch in and help, don't come in extra early. My brother is known for that, coming in. You tell him 3 o'clock, he's going to be here at 2. Well, that's fine if you can come in and go outside and entertain yourself. It's not fine if you're going to come in and keep asking me questions, what you cooking? My default answer is food. I ain't got time to entertain you right now. I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So please be respectful of the host. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute, Charles. Be respectful of the host's time. If they tell you dinner is at 3 o'clock, do not get there before 3 o'clock. If you've been here before and they tell you 3 o'clock and you know they're going to be late anyway, push it back. But don't show up early, especially you got your little fresh outfit on, you looking all, good and all. You ain't come to help out, so all you're going to do is been in the way. Now that host got all this anxiety because they like, is my guest okay? I got to entertain them. I also got to go check this turkey, and then they're running back and forth. So, absolute great question, Meech. Do not come early. What else? What? Oh, yeah, yeah. Because some of y'all have a habit of just showing up extra late. Now, I've had this long-standing joke. It ain't really a joke. I got a buddy of mine that comes over, and this dude can eat. And so I tell folks, well, you know so-and-so is coming. So if I tell you food is at 3 o'clock and you want to show up fashionably late and get here at 6 o'clock and you mad because all the food is gone, hey, this ain't your first time coming here. Again, be respectful. And for those, you got to make your rounds, make your rounds. But I'm going to tell you right now, do not RSVP for someone's home, especially for something like Thanksgiving. And they prepared all this food. And then either you, A, don't show up. RSVP has 3 answers. Yes, no, maybe. If it's no, it's no. If it's yes, it's yes. If it's maybe, you need to change that to yes or no in a sufficient amount of time. Because it's very unfair to the host. You say you come, they done got all this food prepared and you don't show up. Or you show up and they done cooked all this food, but you done ate at 15 other houses, and by the time you get there, you stuck. And another thing, and I'm going to say it the way it is because some of us can get real pedestrian at times. Don't walk in somebody's house with some Tupperware trying to pack up as soon as you get in there. Thanksgiving is one of them grazing days. You eating all day long. So sorry, you want to take food home to your husband, your boyfriend, whoever they want to come with you. Oh well, if the host allows it and everyone else has eaten they fill, then by all means it's okay. But don't walk in nobody's house packing up food to go. That's very rude. Another one of my pet peeves, other than that, and then just not showing up at all. Oh, yeah, I know you're coming. So for those of you that's watching this show that are actually personal friends of mine that have been invited for Thanksgiving, know this. Everything I'm saying, I mean it. I'm not even joking. I'm not saying it's just for the show. This is actually how I operate on Thanksgiving, so act accordingly. If you have any further questions, again, you can always email me at askme@createsimplmeals.com. If you're on createsimplmeals.com, there is a chat button on that you can hit, and it usually notify me on my phone, and I can answer questions. But I'm going to be honest with you. Thanksgiving, next week? Go and hit that chat button Wednesday about 9 o'clock, and y'all going to be like, oh, Create Simple Meals full of crap, because I promise you I'm not going to be monitoring that, because just like you, I'm preparing food for my guests, and I want to enjoy it as well. I like to have my food done in enough time so that I can sit down and relax. I'm not going to eat because I've been cooking all night, but at least I can sit down and enjoy my guests on this happiest of holidays during this time of year. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. Next week, I have every intention of doing a sweet potato pie from start to finish to give you an idea of how to do those so you can see that. And then I got in the back of my head maybe the week after Thanksgiving. Yeah, see how it goes. Show you how to repurpose them leftovers because you're going to cook way too much food anyway. So I'm going to show you how to repurpose them Thanksgiving. Until next week, folks, I love y'all. See y'all soon.